Senator Bral.
Here.
Senator Barry.
Present.
Senator Branham.
Here.
Senator Collister.
Here.
Senator Connor.
Here.
Senator DeCall.
Here.
Senator Dominguez.
Present.
Senator Fornerado.
Here.
Senator Hornsby.
Present.
Senator Hurtado.
Present.
Senator J. Swall.
Here.
Senator Johnson.
Here.
Senator Chetry.
Here.
Senator Muir.
Here.
Senator Ortiz.
Here.
Senator Price.
Present.
Senator Rosales.
Present.
Senator Sidweeks.
Present.
Senator Withers.
Present.
Senator Worley.
Here.
Thank you, Zara. Now, if you'd all stand with me and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Geez, I wish you could have my bike, man.
Senator Collister.
I move to approve last meeting's minutes.
Second.
It has been moved by Senator Collister to approve last week's minutes, seconded by Senator Price.
Unanimous.
Unanimous has been called. Seeing no objections, last week's minutes are approved. Senator Collister.
I move to approve this week's agenda.
Seconded.
It has been moved by Senator Collister to approve this week's agenda, seconded by Senator Connor. Unanimous has been called. Seeing no objections, this week's agenda is approved. We will now open our gallery for any questions.
How's it going, guys? Yeah. So, I hope you guys all got my email last week because this week's a really short week for you guys. You only have, or I guess it's a short month, you only have 1 week on your checklist. So those are due tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Please be on time with those. I know there were some issues last time with being on time, so please make sure to do that. There will be some deductions. I've talked to a couple of you specifically. You will get an email next week that just kind of gives you a summary of the semester and what your scholarship will look like next semester. And then once we get that all processed, Annie will work to get that processed as quickly as possible. Any questions, concerns, anything like that from you guys?
Senator Collister.
With the last service event coming up on Saturday, and our checklist being due before then, do we just report that we're going to go to it and then we'll be there?
Yes, if you have, and this goes with office hours as well, if you have something that is on your checklist that you plan to do just after your checklist is due, please just note that, and I will mark it and then I will verify that. Good question.
Senator Worley.
Have there even been any events that we were able to go to by the time the checklist is due? I haven't known of any. Like, you have to do 2 field hours for a checklist, don't you?
I don't believe for this checklist. I will get back to you on that, but this checklist will be very basic. So the only things that are going to be on there is your office hours this week and this meeting, to my knowledge. I will send you an email to clarify that probably tomorrow.
Thank you.
Just for clarification on the events, there are a few events going on this week. So we have bingo on Thursday, so tomorrow. And there's quite a few events tomorrow. So I know you said that next week, you said that they could say that they're intending on going on to things. So if you'd like to serve your field hours at Dead Week Relief events or bingo tomorrow, you can.
So as clarification, Vice President Belknap, they are required to do their field hours as well for this month?
Yes.
Okay. There's your answer.
We'll work that into our 8 to 5 schedule.
Senator Barry.
Bingo is next Thursday. Just so you guys know. Not this Thursday, next Thursday.
Anything else?
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Andy. Is there anyone else who would like to approach from the gallery? Seeing none, we'll now move to our announcements and correspondence. We'll first hear from Deb Green about the ASISU scholarships.
Well, hello, I'm Debbie Green, Associate Director of Scholarships.
We processed 722 ASISU scholarship applications for spring, which is a great number. Each of you received the information from the committees. I'm here to ask for your approval. None of the amounts exceeded 25% of full tuition, which is in the ASISU bylaws. The committees recommended $76,187 in ASISU scholarships for spring. So I'm hoping to get these guys awarded before the holidays and notified, and I'm here to ask for your approval.
So we will now entertain a motion to approve the spring
Spring.
2016 ASISU scholarships.
Yeah.
Senator Sid Weeks.
I move to approve the ASISU scholarship for spring 2016.
It has been moved by Senator Sid Weeks to approve the spring 2016 ASISU scholarships, seconded by Senator Rosales. Unanimous has been called.
Roll call. It's money.
Roll call. We will now turn it over to Secretary Severson for the roll call.
Senator Brawl,
Yes.
Senator Barry,
Yes.
Senator Branham,
Yes.
Senator Collister,
Yes.
Senator Connor,
Yes.
Senator DeCall,
Yes.
Senator Dominguez,
Yes.
Senator Fornerado,
Yes.
Senator Hornsby,
Yes.
Senator Hurtado,
Yes.
Senator J. Swall,
Yes.
Senator Johnson,
Yes.
Senator Chetry,
Yes.
Senator Muir,
Yes.
Senator Ortiz,
Yes.
Senator Price, Senator Rosales,
Yes.
Senator Sid Weeks,
Yes.
Senator Withers,
Abstain.
Senator Worley.
Yes.
Thank you. Good luck on finals.
Did the motion pass? Scholarships are approved.
Thank you. All right, thanks.
Senator. You need to change your vote. Yeah. Okay. You're good. All right. We will now hear from Val Davids.
Good evening, Senate. I did want to let you know that we do have laughter yoga tomorrow. And so we would love for you guys to come. It's at 7:00. And I think the first 100 get a mat. So please join us for laughter yoga tomorrow. Tonight, I have the group we have is Be the Match on campus. I'm really excited. This is a national group. And Haley has worked really hard, Kaylee's worked really hard getting this group on campus. One of the purposes of this group is they partner with Be the Match, they're a representative, and they educate and engage the school community in a unique opportunity to save lives. And this is really exciting because you don't have to be in the health-related fields. I know that Kaylee isn't in the health-related field, so you can be in any field to be in this club. And I'm going to turn it over to Kaylee to talk about some of the things they have planned and some of the things they've done.
So for those of you who don't know, Be the Match is a national organization who they specialize in the bone marrow registry. They have the world's largest bone marrow registry. And the bone marrow registry, and so they help fight bone and blood cancers. The more people we have on the registry, the more people's lives we can save. We did have an event on campus here on the 30th. It was our first event, and we got 21 people added to the registry. It's not as big of a number as I hoped for, but with more education about bone marrow registry, I think that ISU has a lot of potential. The only other campus that has Be the Match on campus is Boise State University in Boise. And with ISU having several satellite campuses throughout the state, I think we have a great chance of becoming the state's largest registry for college campuses.
Can you state and spell your name for the minutes again?
Kailey. Kaylee
Last name.
White. Sorry, White.
Senator Collister.
How many members do you currently have in your club or student club?
So we currently have 21 members. Also, with the 21 people that were registered, we had 11 people saying that they did want to become a part of that club. So
Senator Sedwigs.
So is it just bone marrow then, or is it like, well, everything?
So the registry is bone marrow registry. The cancers that it helps fight is any blood or bone related cancers. So like leukemia is one of the major ones.
Senator Price.
You said you would like to reach to the outreach campuses. How are you planning to do that as a club?
Well, currently our advisor is at the Meridian campus. She's in charge of the nursing department over there. So we already have our in at the Meridian campus. And then as far as the other satellite campuses, it would just be coming in contact with the student organizations there.
Senator Connor.
Could you, excuse me, could you explain what it means to be on the registry, what it means for the person who's on the registry, and how that helps somebody else?
So being on the registry, so basically being on the registry, you are able to, all right. So you register and you're on the registry. And then when there's a match, and as far as the match goes, it's not just, so it's based off your DNA, but 75% of the cases of people who need a bone marrow transplant aren't going to be able to get that from their family members. And that's just genetics. It's how it lines up. My uncle needed a bone marrow transplant, and his own son wasn't a match. So it just depends on basically your background as far as finding the match. But being on the registry is a vital part in finding transplant donors.
How do they,
Out of order. Got to ask for a follow-up.
Follow up?
Senator Connor.
When, like say I become a match to somebody else,
Mhm.
how do they get my marrow or bone marrow to do that?
Okay, so Be the Match will contact you directly. In 75% of cases, they get the bone marrow just like you would a blood draw. 25% of cases, they actually have to have a surgery, and they go into your, they have an operation, they go into your hip. You are completely sedated throughout that operation. And a lot of the times you just have you just experience like about a week of pain. The way I look at it is you're called upon to save a life. And how are you going to turn that down?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Sedwigs.
What kind of events like are you just to register, but also to educate people about it?
So we'll be having information events. As far as like tabling goes, that would be huge just because bone marrow registry is it's not known. It's not widely known. So having registry events on campus, informational events, and just events to get students involved, get them informed about bone marrow registry.
Senator Collister.
I move to approve Be the Match.
Unanimous.
It has been moved by Senator Collister to approve Be the Match, seconded by Senator Fortunato. Unanimous has been called. Seeing no objections,
Be the Match on campus.
Be the Match on campus.
So just make another motion, Senator Collister. Senator Collister.
I move to approve Be the Match on campus.
It has been moved by Senator Collister to approve Be the Match on campus, seconded by Senator Fortunato. Unanimous has been called. Seeing no objections, your club is approved.
Thank you.
And I also just want to thank all of you who have been attending our events on the Student Activities Board. I really appreciate you guys being there and supporting us. And thank you for this Saturday, too. I know that we're looking forward to seeing and working with you guys. Thank you.
All right. And last, we'll hear from Haley Dugan, our Elections Commissioner.
Sorry, we have to go through this again. There were just some hiccups with scheduling rooms, so it's just kind of a little change, not too big. For mandatory senator speeches and the mandatory executive ticket debate, those have all been moved up. Well, just the speeches for senators from March 9th and 10th to the 10th and 11th. And they're both going to be at noon. And then the mandatory executive ticket debate has been moved from noon on that Friday to 6:30 p.m. So kind of just a little difference there. I think you all got the schedule. So hopefully that works.
Are there any questions for Haley? Senator Worley.
Move to approve the changes to the Senate election timeline.
Second.
It has been moved by Senator Worley to approve the changes to the Senate election timeline, seconded by Senator Sidweeks.
Unanimous.
Unanimous has been called. Seeing no objections, the changes are approved. Thank you, Haley. Now we will hear from Mackenzie Smith with her President's Report.
Okay, so the first thing I was going to let you guys know is these are kind of more university things, but some of them will affect us and hopefully we will look at them. Currently, we have a student who is doing a survey and a study on student health insurance and how it has, the mandate in Idaho for student health insurance has impacted students at Idaho State University. I'm sure all of you guys received that email. Please do that survey. It's very important, mainly for the fact that if it comes back as the student is thinking it will and proves that student health insurance requirements in Idaho have hindered students' ability or ability to seek higher education or has hindered students at Idaho State University, the Senate may look at doing another resolution similar to the resolution we did about medical amnesty. It's a hard process, but perhaps we could try and help students as a Senate by doing something like that. The Student Activity Fee Committee will be meeting next week to hear 11 different requests for student activity fee increases from different departments. So I will be giving you guys updates on that after Christmas break. The closing of the directory is finished. So we did achieve that earlier this week. You should have all gotten an email about that. It's very exciting. And then also the SBCC, which is basically the university finance committee that oversees all budgetary issues at this university, met today, our first meeting. Myself, Kate, and Kadrick, our finance officer, went and listened to some of the difficulties of this financial year and some of our goals, and so we will be meeting regularly now, so I will keep you guys posted on that. And then I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the Senate and hit home, close to home a little bit more. So just looking at impacts from this semester as a Senate, this semester we only passed 4 bills and 2 resolutions. One of the resolutions was written by me. And only one of those resolutions may have an impact on students. And that was a medical amnesty resolution. This is a little bit difficult because it's hard to change things that are going to help the students. And it takes time and it takes effort. But I don't want our legacy to be that we did the bare minimum. And as of right now, with only 4 bills, and 2 resolutions, and 1 resolution that's actually going to affect our constituency at all, and hopefully affect them. That's not a guarantee in any means. It just looks like we haven't done a whole lot. I think you guys have done amazing work, and I think you guys are working really hard, but next semester, I want to ask and implore all of you to really get out there and talk to people and see the issues on campus and make a difference, because we only have 1 more semester to do so. Accountability is a huge issue, and I think that is proof proven by the stipend reductions that some of you will be taking. Our accountability as a Senate has not been outstanding this year, and I think that's this semester. And I think that's something that all of us should strive to improve next semester. Each and every one of us can improve our accountability, and each and every one of us can improve our connections to our constituencies. I hope that next semester we will have the strong bond that we have had this semester as a Senate, but I really hope that we can not buckle down and really make a difference for our constituencies, so that when you leave this office, or if you run next year for office, you can show people what you did to benefit the students. Because as of right now, I can't say we've done a whole lot that has. We've changed a couple words in our stipend checklist book, and we've passed a resolution that the legislator now has to deal with before it will be able to benefit our students in any way. And I know it's not fun to have tough love, and I'm not criticizing any one of you in general. I'm criticizing all of us, including myself, and needing to be more accountable and working at this just a little bit harder to really help our constituents. I think we've done amazing things, but we need to really try and help our constituents, because I know there's issues out there that we aren't addressing as a Senate. And if we aren't going to address them, who will? So it's not fun to talk about, and I know I'm kind of leaving us on a sad note right before Christmas, and I hate that. I'm sorry. I hope our Christmas party will not have any of these notes in them. I want it to be happy, and I want all of us to have a happy Christmas break and a happy New Year. But we need to think about our impacts, because those are what is our legacy. And if our legacy is that we did the bare minimum and that we weren't accountable, it doesn't look good on our Senate. And I know each and every one of you is capable and has been doing amazing things, but we need to do that as a Senate as a whole next semester. So I'm sorry that I left it on a sad note, but sometimes we have to look at ourselves, and sometimes it's not fun to look at ourselves, and I have to do it too, because I'm your guys' leader. And so obviously there's a leadership issue if there's accountability that's not happening, and if there's no Senate bills coming forward that are benefiting the students, then it's a leadership issue too. And so I'm looking at myself just as hard as I'm looking at any other issue. But we have to, guys, we really have to not buckle down and figure out how to benefit our constituents next semester. And I think that each and every one of you is strong enough and determined enough to rise to that occasion. And I don't have any issue or any worry that it will happen, but I think sometimes we have to verbalize it so that it will happen. So I'm proud of you guys, and I'm excited for next semester. And thank you guys for a great semester. And I hope that we have a great time at our Christmas party next week. So does anyone have any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you, President Smith. We'll now move on to our committee reports, starting with our Senate Pro Tem Committee. Senator Withers.
Thank you, Vice President Belknap. So this week, we're currently in the process of meeting with each of the committee head chairs, and we're going through different types of feedback. We're getting feedback on both my performance as well as the performance of our appreciation gifts. And we're also reconsidering committee reassignments. So please go into next semester expecting some change. Change never hurt anyone. And so that's for the betterment of Senate overall. And we will also likely continue our appreciation gifts towards other departments and people who have attributed to Senate's success. I want to resonate the same sentiments President Smith just shared, and I believe that we should strongly recognize those people that have helped us achieve where we are today. So that will be a continued process throughout next semester, and a greater focus on service will be provided, just to let everyone know. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Withers. We'll now hear from the Finance Committee. Senator Withers.
Thank you again, Vice President Belknap. So we kind of discussed some of the material we spoke of in finance during caucus today, but you can expect budgets to be a centralized focus next semester when we're dealing with finding ways to cover that deficit, whether it's increasing our fees, covering, having to cut budgets for our line items, anything along those lines. So you can expect to hear more about that In addition, we are going to readdress some of the material that's listed on the incentive point sheets. Currently, we have the ASISU Student Organizations Retreat listed, which is no longer available. So we want to readdress that. And then we also want to address that Benny's Pantry is listed up in the service aspect or the service portion of the incentive point requirement. However, that can only allow 1 or 2 people at a time to volunteer there. So we are going to look at other ways to accommodate that service as well. Other than that, that's all finance has to report.
Thank you, Senator Withers. We'll now hear from our Rules Committee. Senator Branham.
Thank you. We have nothing new to report.
Thank you, Senator Branham. We will now hear from Appointments and Review. Senator DeCall.
So we successfully gave the appreciation tokens to the specific departments last week, and we're looking forward for the next semester. We still need to do some more elections the next semester. I think that's pretty much. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator DeCall. Now we'll hear from our Outreach Committee. Senator Muir.
We have nothing new to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Muir. Now we'll hear from Communications. Senator Johnson.
Thank you. We have nothing new to report.
Thank you. And last, we'll hear from our Service Committee. Senator Price.
Okay, so we do have our service event coming up this Saturday at 8:30. We will be serving breakfast. I have been talking with SAB and Chartwell's Catering, and we have the option of having pre-made burritos, a burrito bar, or providing breakfast. We're still looking at budget. We do have a budget of $50 to $75 max, and it comes out of our discretionary fund. So I am trying to look for the best, cheapest way possible to provide a good hearty breakfast for the students who are volunteering. So right now we're at a pass because I need to know who will be there in order to help to serve breakfast. Kind of like how much manpower can we provide, unless we're just going to go with the Chartwell's idea. So I will have a sign-up sheet with me at the end of the meeting. If you have yet to complete your community service event for your stipend, please come see me. In order for this to count as a stipend, though, you not only need to be there for the breakfast serving, but to complete the event for SAB. So attend one of the categories that they have. So I don't know if they're going to go to the food bank or any elsewhere, but you need to complete one of those as well. So breakfast and going to the event is the whole thing that we had decided as a community service. Other than that, I will send out an email if we are serving breakfast. You will have to show up earlier than 8:30, but if Chartwell's is serving breakfast, then plan on being there at 8:30. Okay, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Senator Price. We have no old business or new business, so now I will reopen the gallery for anyone who would like to approach the Senate.
Good evening, Senate. My name is Sean Kelch, and I don't know if can you spell that one? Okay. I am the moderator for ASISU Speaks, as some of you do know. Just a quick raise of hands. How many people have come to see me on the air? Very few. I know that's one of the things that you guys do have on your stipend checklist, or is it no longer there? Either way, this is a talk show basically that ASISU, as the Senate, you are the ones responsible for this. I actually have a full-time job where I work anywhere between 60 and 70 hours a week. I also do this on a volunteer basis where I take anywhere between 5 to 6 hours to prepare the show and be ready. And you, as Senate, are the primary individuals that are on there to let the community know, let the fellow students know what is going on here on campus with things during Senate, with the clubs that you represent, and to be able to go out. I'm going to put a lot of the blame on myself right now, just for the fact that I have not been available to as many people as needed to. So I want to make sure you have contact information for me. I'm going to make sure everybody has my phone number, which you can text. That is 208-339-3103. Or you can get a hold of me on my email account, which is the ISU email is KELSSHA2 at isu.edu. And the big thing I want to push for coming up is the people that have been there or have been on the air before. The studio is quite small. As much as I would like to have as many of you come in for the last few weeks of school, unfortunately, I cannot get more than 2 or 3 of you in at a time. So that's a huge issue. The other issue that we run across is that we have this next Tuesday, which the show does air every Tuesday night at 7 p.m., is a basketball game. So we will not be on the air. So this next Tuesday is out of the question. So we will be running shows all the way through until the new semester. So if you're going to be around, you're welcome to come in and talk, get on the air. If for some reason you have classes on Tuesday night, you are also welcome to get a hold of me, and I will do everything I can to set up a time with you around your schedule and my schedule to correspond to do a off-the-air interview so we can get it broadcast so you can get your credit for that. But the big thing is we're there to represent the students and let people know what's going on, because you are the representatives of Idaho State University. And the community likes to hear what's going on here on campus along with what's going on elsewhere. So anything that the clubs are doing, especially your clubs that are out there trying to do philanthropy work, trying to raise money for their clubs, having bake sales here on campus, doing whatever it is, we need to broadcast that as much as possible. And then also, the big one is to enhance the understanding of what ASISU is. As senators, as being a former senator, I know that was one of the big things that's pushing out there, is to let them know what was going on and why I'm a senator and why I wanted to represent them as individuals. And especially with a lot of new faces out there, a lot of people are trying to figure out, why are you here? Why do you want to represent? Are you here trying to enhance your career in politics? Are you truly after something that's going on that you weren't happy with that was going on in the past that you wanted to change? Things along that lines. I will not ask you questions that are hard to answer. It will be nice and easy. If you are scared to be on the air, it's basically having a conversation between yourself and myself, and we'll make it as fun as possible. We won't worry about the 500 listeners that are out there. But this is just between us, and we'll have a good time, and we'll just make sure it's easy to do. I do ask that you do it on Tuesday nights because it is live, and it makes it a whole lot more interesting. And that way people can actually call in if they have questions about something going on. They can actually ask you, and you can hear it from the constituents themselves and the public of how you as students feel what's going on in the community and what's going here on campus. At that, I have nothing further. So if you have any questions, be happy to answer.
Senator Johnson?
So I was just curious if there was ever a Tuesday when the senator wasn't there, which I'm sure there have been. How do you go about that?
You know, the biggest thing I really would like to try to get it where we have 1 or 2 senators a week. With a 16-week semester, it's easy enough for at least one person to come a week. You know, that's great. But I know that, again, scheduling conflicts arise, and Senate is not a easy-going thing, along with coursework and extracurricular activities and everything else. I know in the past we've had athletes as senators trying to do everything and going through practices and you name it. There's been a lot of problems. But the way the show actually breaks down is we try to do the first 20 minutes is going on what's happening here on campus with everything from the movie theater to sporting events to music, the choirs, the bands, theater, different displays going on here on campus. Anything going on is what we really push that first 20 minutes to make sure people know they can tune in that first 20 minutes of the show and they can find out everything that's happening right here, right now, and for the rest of the week. Again, this semester has been kind of different, where there's been some issues that I've had with having the full-time job that I've not been able to fulfill, and they've had to put on some other shows. But going here forward, we should be able to be every Tuesday. There's not going to be any scheduling conflicts other than this next Tuesday with athletics. So it will be an opportunity for everybody. But then the second 20 minutes that we have is truly talking about things that are going on in the community, just what's happening around the world, people's thoughts on things, and just to get more information out to them on what's happening. We try to make sure that it's a well-versed program where we really want to get everything out there. And then the last 20 minutes is truly dedicated towards the Senate. So anything coming through Senate, that if you have bills going through, we want to really get those out there and discuss those so people know what's happening. That way, that's where it comes in with the senators, where they can call and ask questions. And why are you doing this? Is there a specific reason? So those are things that you want to be able to answer. And a lot of times we have giveaways through multiple departments and things like that. So we're having interaction, 2 to 3 calls on a show. And then such as after the semester is over, we actually have a Christmas program that will be on the 22nd. I believe is the 22nd is the Tuesday. And then on the following week is the New Year's program. And we talk about how things are that we're thankful and giving appreciation out to those individuals that are out there, whether it be our wonderful people that work here in the Pond Student Union building to clean up the bathrooms on a daily basis, you know, things like that, that are people that are underappreciated that we don't see on a regular basis. And we like to make sure that everybody gets some kind of recognition, whether it's Benny, the cheerleaders, the pep band. You know, people forget about those kind of groups. They forget about the student organizations that are out there that go around and pick up the Green Club, which is making huge strides and trying to keep campus a little bit nicer. The grounds crew that goes through and picks up cigarette butts off the campus on a regular basis and cleans the sidewalks. You know, how rough would it be if you came back to school from Thanksgiving break and had the sidewalks with a 1.5 feet of snow that you had to trudge through to classes? You know, it's kind of nice to be able to have those sidewalks clean and things like along those lines. We put out as much information for SAB and this union program council just to know, so people see it. The tree lighting was mentioned on this last show. So those are the kind of things that we really want to push. If you have groups out there, you can bring your clubs on. And it's not something that says you only can appear once on the show. You can appear as many times as you want during the semester. The big one is if you have time and you come to the studio right before 7 o'clock, I will get you on the air. And that's that simple. And we'll talk for a couple minutes and we'll go from there, and I'll change whatever I have programmed in and change it around what you are there to do and to get your word out. But that's going to be the easiest, is if you contact me directly. And again, I'm going to make that better effort, and I want to make sure you have that opportunity to get a hold of me directly instead of having to go through the radio station and out. But I want to make sure I'm available to you. And for those that cannot make it, again, you know, I hate to say, you know, this is a personal feeling, I guess, is if you don't have class, there's time, you know, if you're studying or another organization or work, very understandable. But every Tuesday, you can't make 10 minutes worth of time on a Tuesday night, because that's all it would really take. So this gives you the opportunity to make sure this show is what you want it to be, because this is your show. This is not my show. It's not the Sean Hour. It is ASISU Speaks. And to have ASISU speak, I need senators there to get the word out.
Senator Zakal?
Last time in Nepal, there was a massive earthquake, and we went to Nepal to build some schools and did some donations. Would it be possible to come to ASISU Speaks and talk about that?
Oh, definitely. Whatever you feel it is necessary, especially having the Nepalese students here. There's a big enough population here. Is it their concern? Of course it is. We want to make sure that everybody has that right and to know what's going on. I try to keep current events out of it, you know, things that are happening in the world, just for the fact that not always is it going to affect us directly. But if there are students that are getting affected here, that's where we want to bring it in. And especially with that, you know, where they've got families and friends and things like that that are affected by that, and things that we can do. Any organization is welcome to come on and say, hey, you know what, we're raising money for this. This is what we're doing. This is the best thing in the world. College of Arts and Letters has actually done really well this year. They have once a month, they have a show that they dedicate to them to bring out everything that's going to happen that month for the theater and the music department, and to make sure that people know what's going on and along those lines. So anything we can do to continue to push that. If you have students that you're in classes with that want to bring something on the air, tell them to come down. This is a student show. This is a student broadcast to let people know what's going on. This is the easiest way to get information out.
Senator Call.
Follow-up question. Where is it taking place and how is it getting broadcasted to constituents?
Okay, the broadcast is actually through KISU radio, which is downstairs on the first floor, through that first hallway that goes next to the restrooms. As you go around the corner, that's the actual KISU radio station. And we have 2 studios in there, and then it's just broadcast on the air that we threw out. So we have 3 major suppliers or distributions that go out. One is in Idaho Falls, one is in Rexburg, and one is here. So that radio station does get quite a bit of an area. We get all the way over to the Twin Falls area, and we also are available online. So if you're on the air, contact your family and say, hey, I'm going to be on the radio, and you can find me on KISU.org, and they can hear you on the radio. So, you can be a fan of the family or friends and say, hey, this is something new that I've never done. I wanted to do this. And if you want to be there more, like I say, it's open to what you need as a senator to put out there for your information.
Thank you.
Senator Withers.
I just want to say thank you for coming out and providing all this information to us again, Sean. Would you mind repeating your contact information?
No problem. My phone number is 208-339-3103. And my email is kelssha2@isu.edu.
Thank you.
And the best contact is either text or phone calls. I don't get the opportunity to respond to email as much as I would like with my job. So,
Were there any other questions? Seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Kelch.
thank you.
All right, we will now move on to our pro tem vote of confidence. So if you would all please write your vote on the orange slips of paper and pass them my direction.
Yeah. Why?
What?
Just you got yours down.
Oh, that's not mine.
There's too many votes here. These are all filled out.
Yes.
I have to find it. Cost 2 in each folder. I wanted to blend the, they're all like 12 and 14 and some of them. And I was like, I have no idea what a 14-year-old is. Like my brothers are all older than that, and my nephews aren't old enough to be that, so I really don't know what they were stressed on. I didn't know you can say more than like different people. On the thing, you can like write different names on it. I didn't know you could do that. Right now, did you want to on that thing? Yeah, we have to. Oh, not bad.
Jordan Withers remains your pro tem. All right, now if you'd all stand and join me in singing the ISU fight song.
You decide our fate. Bring the Take 3 arms, let's see Reynolds, I-S-U, I-S-U, fight, I-S-U, fight, I-S-U, fight, go, go, go Bengals, go.
Senator Colister.
I move to adjourn.
It has been moved by Senator Colister to adjourn, seconded by Senator Dominguez.
Unanimous.
Unanimous has been called. Seeing no objections, we will adjourn after the roll call.
Senator Baral. Here. Senator Barry.
Present.
Senator Branham. Here. Senator Colister.
Here.
Senator Connor.
Here.
Senator DeCall.
Here.
Senator Dominguez.
Present.
Senator Fornerado.
Here.
Senator Hornsby. Senator Hurtado. Senator J. Swall.
Here.
Senator Johnson.
Here.
Senator Chetry.
Here.
Senator Muir. Senator Ortiz. Senator Price. Senator Rosales. Senator Sid Weeks.
Present.
Senator Withers.
Present.
Senator Worley.
Present.
Meeting adjourned.
Obviously, I'm not present.
That's not my strong suit.
Not having a light until tomorrow. Yeah.
And then that.
Jordan, if you're serving breakfast, can that be your field hour? If you just do the, if you've already done your